Legends, our channel has just turned 1 year old. And to celebrate, nothing better than a Racing Legends Rewind from 2020. This has been a long year where I was happy to make almost 150 videos asking nothing in return. But as this is the channel's 1 year anniversary, you can give me a gift without spending more than a couple seconds. The gift is, if you are subscribed, click the bell icon and check all notifications. But if you're not yet subscribed, the gift would be click that subscribe button. I appreciate your gift very much, it makes me very happy. Now let's go back 1 year in time. In December 10th, 2019, Racing Legends is born. It comes to the world with the goal of making a very different content from everything we're used to. And the content I couldn't find last year was driving tips and track analysis. The idea was to make an informative content that brought the thrill of racing.
Welcome to Mount Panorama Bathurst Circuit, where the best thrive and the other ones bite the dust. We are in Australia, land of kangaroos, koala bears, and utes.
Ah yes, the shy voiceover.
On the right turn, lift a little and come back on it. Just brake a bit so you don't hit the blind wall. Right here.
Then the next videos were driving tips. The voiceover was very bad, but it served as training for what we have today.
Stay tuned for these 4 tips on how to drive better, including a bonus tip for those who watch until the end. See, the problem is that braking throws the weight of the whole car to the front. In straight braking, there is no problem. The weight of the car goes to the front wheels and this increases their grip, giving them greater braking power.
Until we got to our 6th video, how to drive well in the Derwent Lakeside. Because I made myself commentate during a flying lap, I had to commentate more lively and with a better pace.
When leaving, so that you don't hit the house, it's better to waste a little time going slower than being penalized. The next 3 turns are more difficult. In this class, it's good to brake just before the corner, go wide before entering and don't cut, that is. Don't go wide after the turn because you have to prepare for the next one and you don't have time to pull the car across. Next comes a more technical corner. You have to brake a lot in a straight line. The problem is that the straight part is very short. Try to keep it well left before turning because the corner is sharp. We will turn the car at that moment. By the next turn, you also begin to turn right beside a road sign. This is our point of reference. Cutting the turn full throttle, fasten your seatbelts for the takeoff, and take a hard landing on the brakes, letting go before the turn.
Until we get to the video on how to get the A86. This video was my first viral, relatively speaking. I was used to getting less than 10 views per video, maybe less than 5 even. But this video broke the mark of over 100 views in just a couple of hours. And in the next couple days, it got hundreds and hundreds of views.
This is what you need to do to get the Toyota 86, Sprinter Terreno or Hachiroku on Horizon 4.
Then I made the video about the Bamberg Coast. It was an evolution of the videos about tracks. I started to talk about the place, the cars we're gonna use, and even how to be fast in A, S1 and S2 class. And then Nico Rosberg started doing these types of videos too. Of course, he copied me.
So come with us through the gates of this monumental 4th century building. It has 16 centuries of construction, battles, damage, achievements, and restoration. The main tower is permeated by secret passages that give the Colossus a mysterious atmosphere. Still, the most impressive view is this, the clock tower. From here, you can see the beach from end to end, the way the old owners needed it to block any attempt of attack. All this majesty surrounds the Bamberg Coast Circuit, which I believe to be one of the most intense Forza Horizon 4 circuits. We're gonna use 3 cars, one of each class. First, the midnight purple Nissan Skyline GTR V-Spec, chassis code R33. But the R33's biggest secret for success lies under the hood, the RB26. A 2.6-liter twin-turbo inline-6 delivering 280 horsepower from the factory, yet capable of more than 1,000 horsepower with minor engine upgrades. Use the braking point here to be able to apex the next corner. Here you again want to go over this right line, but don't go this time to the grass, otherwise you may very well spin and lose control of the car. Instead,
and then the Driving Pleasure series popped up, starting with the 8.6. It was an interview style with some b-roll and the car also driving a bit. I thought it was a cool series, but it got a little cringy.
This is my 1985 Toyota Sprinter Terreno, and I love it. When it gets up in the rev range, your heart really starts pumping.
But then I made the video on how to drift like Takumi. This is my biggest viral video yet, racking up almost 100,000 views. The music was extremely loud, my voice was barely audible, but you seem to like it.
Now here's the problem. You're approaching a corner too fast to complete it. What do? Well, if you thought about hitting brakes, you're correct. But that's not all. See, the technique he uses is not to unstabilize the car by shifting gears without rev matching, as he does heel and toe. The way he does it is by turning the wheel to the inside while he's...
Then I made the video talking about my first sim rig. I thought it was a really bad video, but it was the first that I was able to watch without cringing out that much until the end. And now it's getting some more views, and we can see why.
Now, what could take few degrees of rotation to many degrees of rotation and is doable by 2 kids? First, we thought of cogs. They would be ideal for transforming few rotations into a lot of them. To make that, we took a wooden box, a piece of rebar, and a tennis ball, and we made a gearbox. It worked by means of 7 buttons that were pressed when we moved the lever into...
But what really marked this channel was the How to Get series. It was simply how to get the cars in Forza Horizon 4. Even though they were short videos, they helped me train my utterance, if you will.
To get the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, to get the Ferrari 488 Pista, to get the Toyota 2000 GT, to get Volkswagen IDR, it's not as simple as going to the store and getting yours. To get the Aston Martin Vulcan AMR, to get the Lamborghini Diablo GTR, to get the McLaren Speedtail, to get the Lexus LFA in Forza Horizon 4.
And after a couple more tuning guides, I finally released my video on the Australian Grand Prix. It was a way more well-produced video and the narration was a little better. The series had that initial style as the track guides, but it didn't continue because the F1 calendar got all jumbled.
This year at Racing Legends, we'll explore the tracks of the Formula 1 Grand Prix, taking a trip around the globe. In this series of about 20 episodes, we'll teach you how to race on these challenging circuits, the techniques that the fastest drivers use, and important points for your driving strategy. All of that while enjoying stunning views of the most beautiful landscapes in the countries that will host Formula 1 in 2020. Also, don't forget to calculate your speed on corners 11 and 12, because depending on the conditions, you don't have to brake as much as you think for the first one. Very high RPMs. To do well on this track, start by keeping left on the starting line, reduce to 5th gear and just chop turn 1. Taking the whole car.
And in that same time, the fast money tips were born. Initially, I did one car at a time, but eventually it evolved into every car at the same time.
In this video, you'll learn how to win 2 million credits in 10 minutes.
Welcome everybody to another You Will Be a Millionaire. Do you see this car? It's a Bugatti Divo, just 40 sold worldwide, 1500 horsepower and a 0 to 60 of 2.4 seconds. This car is extremely rare and, because of that, worth 10 million credits at Forza Horizon 4 auctions. And then I had the idea to make the Build series. The idea was not to make a simple gameplay, but a gameplay with a story and an epic tune. In the end, this series showed itself to be way too much work, and I just did 2 episodes.
model was developed with one very clear thing in mind: top speed. I would say it's like driving on a frozen lake. What happened?
And then, 5 months after starting the channel, my twin channel got 100 subscribers and then 200 right after. Just 2 more videos and it had 300 subs, the free homemade cockpit, and my favorite spots to drift in Forza Horizon 4.
Do you want a cockpit for your racing sim rig, but you don't want to spend $1,000 on one? Then you're in the right place, because in the next few minutes I'll explain step by step how I built mine without spending a dime. But you must be asking yourself, well, how can you have done all of this for free if I need to buy the materials, such as wood and cloth, to start the project? And the answer may surprise you. You don't have to buy the materials, just as I didn't pay anything for mine. All the wood and cloth that I used to make this cockpit, I reused 100. You have probably drifted a lot in Forza Horizon 4, as it's really fun to slide around. Number 5. The Toga Downhill. This one comes straight from our love for Initial D. This is a winding mountain road that has 2 different downhill sectors, depending on the direction you're going. Number 3. The Horizon Festival Circuit Extended. Watch this. You pass right through the middle of the only 2 pillars that hold the bridge up. One of the hardest stunts to pull off in the history of all drift spots I've tried. I'm talking about the first corner that comes right after the main straight, when you're going full speed down the straight.
Then I tuned the fastest car in Forza Horizon 4 to be even faster.
We will start by understanding the suspension configuration, and with that knowledge, apply techniques that are used by professional racing teams and even Formula 1 that will leave your Ferrari with superhuman handling capabilities. Then, we will understand fundamental concepts of aerodynamics, applying in the most advanced aerospace industries that will allow you to fine-tune the wings and airfoils of your Ferrari to make any curve. And finally, we will finish off with the perfect tire adjustments to allow the car to reach maximum speed in all scenarios, as the game considers the temperature of the tires to calculate the grip.
It was then that subscribers started storming that channel. And to celebrate 599 subscribers, I made the Formula Drift 599 Gymkhana style. And then I made that channel's most popular video to date, how to make a lot of money sniping at auctions. It was a video full of visual effects and it was explained with practical examples and people loved it.
And if you understand the concept of this video well, it is only a matter of time before you start to apply it in your life and get rich in the real world. But for now, let's focus on the game. We will understand the mechanism by which we will make money. It's called unsuspecting sellers. There are 2 ways to make a cheap and successful purchase at auction, through a bidding battle or the infamous sniping technique. This is where a bidding war begins. If you were giving them a certain value, someone else arrives and gives more for the same car, but you want it, then you place a higher bid than the competition. They realize this.
When Gran Turismo 7 was announced, I wanted to go back to GT6 and see was it still worth playing in 2020.
Because if you're starting to play on a wheel now, there's no more perfect game for that than Gran Turismo. That's because it has a host of activities that teach you and make you practice the fundamental techniques of car control. But in terms of graphics, well, the story is a little different.
Conclusion? Is it worth playing Gran Turismo 6 on PS3 in 2020? Considering the immense variety of activities and possibilities, the incredible gameplay behind the wheel, and with the only drawback being... It was at that time that my twin channel hit the mark of 1,000 subscribers. And of course, I had to make a special revealing all my dreams. So, what's your dream? To which he replied, dreaming big or dreaming small takes the same amount of hustle. If you dream big, each of your steps will be long and you will dedicate yourself every day to reach far. If you dream small, every day you will work just as hard and yet take baby steps. No matter which path you take, you have the option to be successful in whatever you choose to do. You just have to dream big. Whichever way you choose, I'll be here making videos, being free to dream as big as I want, and if I miss the moon, at least I'll land among the stars. Sometime later, I made a gameplay movie hybrid of almost 40 minutes. It was during my vacation and it was really a handful to make. Who does he think he is? Unbelievable! What did I do to them? The race is over for me now. Unless... I shouldn't do this, but it's the only way. So I started going to every race, every event I could, day and night, asphalt and dirt. Tirelessly, I even created my own events in all classes where my car would be accepted. I photographed 50, 100, 200 cars. And in the end, as promised, I was rewarded with my two newest beauties, another Ferrari and a beautiful Porsche. The only thing missing was to sell them at auction. And at that same time, I decided to make our Forza Horizon 4 auction car prices website. It was even harder to make, but with my Forza Horizon 4 crashing all the time, it'll have to be left for later. This will make you a millionaire in Forza Horizon 4. I have a crazy idea of a system that is used by the richest investors in real life and that, if applied also in the game, has the potential to make you very rich. In addition, if you learn to use this tool well to make money in Forza, you will be one step closer to making money in the stock market, which is where the third richest man on earth earned a portion of his fortune. With that in mind, I can say that this tool that I'm developing is potentially your gateway to the world of millionaires in Forza Horizon and, with a bit of luck, in real life too. This is me, and this is my price collector app interpreting everything written in this image perfectly 100% of the time.
Look at that!
But to understand how I got here, we need to rewind a little. I firmly believe that games prepare us for any real-life situation, and if you like video games, this video is for you. Because just like with so many compliments to my car photography, I had to teach you that too. I dedicated myself to this video a lot, but unfortunately, it didn't do so well. Taking pictures with flowerful trees. I believe that a good photo is one that makes the viewer have a good, positive feeling. But as a photo is always a cutout of the scene, the viewer can often feel confined. But your car does not always have to be fully represented in a single photo. The narrow focus is one that shows some part or curve in the car that is interesting, but is not well represented in a photo of the whole vehicle. McLaren P1. Now, it's not because it's dark that you can't take good pictures. Lights are a very important concept in photography, as we already saw in the sunlight. And to top it off, I made a video explaining what each camera slider does in the Forza Horizon 4 camera. It was then that I started to put a lot of effects in the video to make it prettier and also to explain better. But in the end, I could have invested this time to make more videos. The second is the shutter speed. The bigger its value, the more motion blur your photo will have and a greater feeling of speed. Here, you can see a photo with speed on 100 and one with speed set to 0. Then comes the focus mode. It was then that I decided to make a purely cinematic video, and it was called the Purple One. Then I noticed that a lot of YouTubers were dedicating their times to make one very incredible video. So I decided to do just that. I made a complete financial analysis on the Game Pass. It was something that I found nowhere in the internet. Absolutely nobody was trying to make this content. For that reason, I analyzed many scenarios. I used cash flows and even developed formulas. In the end, it was a full 20-minute video, but it was only for those who look for it and want to see a complete financial analysis. So unfortunately, it didn't have that much engagement. At this point, everyone has heard that the Game Pass costs only $1 and gives you access to more than 100 games. But of course, there's a catch. The price after the first month increases to a fixed monthly fee for the base version and a more expensive one for the higher version. So this is where everyone asks which one is better, buying the games or signing up for Game Pass. This is what we're gonna answer by doing a complete financial analysis of several scenarios, one of which may be your case, with real price values, and in the end, if you don't fit any of them, we show you in general terms when it's the best time to subscribe or not to Xbox Game. But then they announced the new PlayStation 5, and I really wanted to talk about its new haptic feedback motors in the controller. I even made 3D animations for this video, and they were the most beautiful I've ever made. This is to this day one of my favorite videos from the channel, if not the favorite. The new PlayStation 5 controller has two new haptic feedback systems that will revolutionize racing games. In particular, I hope that Gran Turismo 7 will bring an implementation of these new technologies right away. They are the new vibration motors that are completely different, and the triggers with actively adjustable resistance, also powered by motors. But they are not normal motors. In fact, they are very different from the vibration motors that have been used in the last generations. If these new technologies are well applied by game developers, the realism of racetracks, or any game in fact, can be leveraged in a revolutionary way. The way these new tactile response motors work can deliver the level of immersion that a good simulator steering wheel will give you, but right at your fingertips. Just to give you a few. So I wanted to have some fun, and I made commentating like a legend. I don't have to tell you nothing, just listen. Now heading to the latter half of the race, the M4 is absolutely at home here, accelerating full throttle, pulling now besides the SUV to manage to overtake it. But what is an SUV doing in this race? But that doesn't matter because we're battling 3 wide and we're pushed wide, almost hitting the barrier there, getting first place just like that. What a risky move from the BMW M4 that could have gone really wrong. And the last video I made before this anniversary was the How to Drift Like the Drift King. This is my most recent creation. I think it's pretty cool. Take a look. Legend has it that this man was so good at drifting that he single-handedly inspired the entire Initial D anime. Legend has it that Takumi Fujiwara himself was created in his image and likeness. He even appeared in the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. He is known worldwide as the Drift King, and his name is Keiichi Tsuchiya. We'll show you all the 6 techniques he uses with 3D animations to decipher every detail, and in addition to all of these, we'll show you on the wheel how each one works. Fasten your seatbelts because this guy's technique is breathtaking.
これは悪いかもしれません。いいえ、彼はただドリフトをしているだけです。彼が行くのを見てください。
And if you didn't subscribe yet, don't forget to give me a gift and subscribe to the channel. If you are subscribed, check if you have all the notifications enabled. Legends, happy holidays to all of you, and let's hope for an even better 2021 for our channel Racing Legends.